Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays, and I'm in the Minotaur at tier 10 British cruiser. I'm on the map Crash Zone Alpha. It's a 3-point domination game. There is unfortunately a carrier, and there are a Des Moines and a Kronstadt for radar. I mean, technically Edinburgh and Yu Yang could have radar too, but we'll see if that's actually the case, I suppose. Now, speaking of raiders, the Des Moines is here, and the Kronstadt unfortunately has also been spotted around this camp. Now, we are lacking a destroyer here, but Viper will be on his way. He was busy camping B, and he will be coming this way to reinforce us. Then again, with the Kronstadt and the Des Moines so close, it remains to be seen what he can actually accomplish in terms of taking the camp. Now, this Kronstadt is going pretty aggressive here. Now, we don't have the largest force around. We have the Azuma and the Ruprecht that can hopefully stop that Kronstadt. There might be a Kansas coming this way, but it's so far away that it's probably not gonna do anything. And then we have the Des Moines in the center that was supporting Viper. We shall see if that comes away. I mean, the Des Moines might have shots from there against the Kronstadt. Then again, I'm not sure if it's gonna risk it because it's gonna get detected. We shall see. Speaking of being detected, this Kronstadt is now in radar range, but it's not using it. I mean, the Kronstadt can't know where exactly I'm inside my smoke, so maybe it's taking it a bit careful. It wants to get closer before it pops its radar. It could also be on cooldown. We will find out. Of course, the other question is, will it have armor piercing loaded once it finally pops the radar? I mean, there is... Oh, there's the radar. See, and here I was getting hopeful. Oh, and there's the armor piercing. But it missed. Meanwhile, the enemy destroyer is spotted. There are also some torpedoes coming my way, and it's time for me to accelerate and get out of here. Now, the good news is that battleship-wise, there isn't much going on here. There were some Des Moines shells coming in. But, oh yeah, there were some battleship shells coming in. Now, that was an unfortunate hit by the Vento. The Vento isn't that close, but you know. Minotaur doesn't have much armor, so as long as it gets a shell hit, it's gonna be dangerous. Now I'm gonna stop shooting here because my smoke's about to disappear, and I'd rather not get shot at by the Kronstadt again. I feel like it's not worth the risk right now. Keep in mind that Minotaur is very lightly armored, and for example that Vento at 18 km could sneak in another citadel. Not to mention that the Kronstadt could get a good hit in. And the Kronstadt seems to be under attack by planes, by the Ruprecht and the Azuma, and is on very low health. So I figured me shooting there is going to give us very little benefit and pose a very great risk. Also, keep in mind, even my torps might just be there to seal the deal. So, this Kronstadt is living longer than expected, but now it's just looking like the torps are gonna have this. There you go. That's a nice fishy for you. Now, meanwhile, we have lost our force at the sea cap, which is unfortunate. The good news is, with the Kronstadt gone, A is now finally open. Obviously, no destroyer could enter A with the Kronstadt pushing so aggressively. The Des Moines still around, but now it's just the Des Moines. The Vento is retreating, so Viper is probably gonna grab A in the near future. Meanwhile, I'm gonna position here at B, because let's face it, an enemy force is gonna push B from the sea cap in the foreseeable future. Now, this Des Moines is still a problem. Well, when we look at the minimap, right, the Des Moines is roughly 10 kilometers away, a little bit over. But depending on how it moves behind the island, and depending on where I park here, it could radar me. Now, of course, the Des Moines itself won't be able to shoot me, but it can use its radar to help its team. Well, I mean, if it's gonna happen is always a question, isn't it? So, trying to sneak in some shells into the Des Moines, which gets me detected. Unsurprisingly, because, I mean, there is also still a destroyer around, which we don't know the position of. But my own smoke is ready, so I'm just gonna disappear. I basically reached the spot where I want to be. I want to be a little bit further forward. We'll see if my smoke trolls me or not, or if I can get a nice path around here. And that works.
Smoke screen set.
So I've got my smoke where I wanted it. What I don't have is spotting on the Vento, because I was hoping I could shoot it. It looked to be lovely broadside. Now if the Vento turns back in and pushes the camp, I could even torp it. No, there is the Sow, but it just disappeared. We can see the Sow and the Mines are already in position to push B. We have the Vento here. Don't know where the Edinburgh, Minnesota or Schlieffen are right now. Or regular. So yeah, it looks like the Vento is gonna push straight into this camp. Now if he keeps on that course, we might be able to torp it. But will it? I mean, it would be nice. Especially if it remains a broadside, but no, it's already turning. It's already turning away. Now I've got my Hydro running. There is the Regular that could torp me. There is the Sow that could torp me probably. There might even be a Schlieffen if it gets close enough. Meanwhile, the Des Moines has been finally dealt with. A is in our hands, and that means the ships down there can come up here and help me, hopefully. This game is still relatively close on ships, but we now have the majority of the capture zones. We're still a bit behind on points, but that will change in time now. So far I don't have ideal targets to shoot, and my smoke is coming closer to its end. Oh, and there are the planes. Of course there are planes. Now if we could kill that Vento here, that would be amazing. That would sort of clear out the north. And I mean, there is still sort of the Mines and the Sow, I guess. But it would make it a lot simpler to keep track of enemy friends. Now my smoke is about to disappear, so as much as I want to shoot at broadside, safety first, so I'm reversing behind this island in order to be in cover from his shells. Now I'm not necessarily in cover from... Oh! I said I'm not necessarily in cover from the Minnesota, but it looks like I am. The Minnesota is behind this island. The Schlieffen might even be too far away to get a good hit in. So, we can see, I think that this is the moving smoke screen of the Regular, plus the smoke screen of the Edinburgh over there. The Vento is about to go down. I could shoot it here, and I'm considering it, but I've decided once again it's not worth the risk. This ship seems to be on fire. It's gonna sink without my input. And I do have a smoke ready, but I want to position a little bit better before I use it. I'm not currently detected, but planes are on its way, and oh yeah, there is the smoke screen creeping. That should be the destroyer, and I'm detected, so the destroyer has run out of smoke. It's also getting closer, and I'm gonna use my own smoke here. Now the good news is there are planes on the way, right? So if I disappear into my smoke screen here, the planes are gonna keep the destroyer spotted. Unfortunately, it's angling, and we can see the amount of damage that I do decreases dramatically. Minotaur isn't so effective against angled targets now, is it? Now the enemy destroyer seems to be beaching here, but our planes are basically gone and we've lost the spotting. I could try to blind shoot this, but I could also try to torp this area. There are also the Sow and the Mines and the Minnesota that might be pushing. So this is getting a bit tricky. The Schlieffen has gotten close. I mean, on the bright side, the enemy is now definitely entering torpedo range. Also, oh, the destroyer is here again. I don't have a Hydro currently running, and that's plenty of ships that could torp me. Yeah, there are some of those torps. So we've got one, and we get a double strike. Come on, Mines, you're nicely broadside. Give me the double strike. Yes! Meanwhile, also getting some torps into the Minnesota. Unfortunately, that Minnesota keeps pushing. Now, the good news is it's a Minnesota. It will take it a while to arrive. My smoke fire penalty is 5.4 kilometers, so I can keep shooting a little bit longer until this gets problematic. And wait, it's getting pretty low though. Maybe we can actually sink it before it spots me. Now, speaking of problematic, you know, my smoke's running out, so smoke fire penalty isn't the only thing I have to be concerned about. So it's 5.7, it's getting close. I'm still reversing here. Smoke's about to go down. Oh, there are torps. Yeah, at this point I'll just keep reversing and hope for the best with the island. The torrents aren't looking my way yet, and I've made it into cover. I mean, I'm spotted, but you know, the Minnesota can't shoot me. Now the Sao can, but that's a little bit less problematic. Oh, and there is a Schlieffen. So let's throw some torps for here. Could have tried some single launch things. When you look at the minimap, right, the Schlieffen is not inside my torp range, but when you look at the circle of the 10 kilometers, it's sailing into it.
Problem solved.
So there is a distinctive chance that I'm gonna torp this Schlieffen. Meanwhile, I've got the Hydro ready again. There is still a Sao that could torpedo me, and a Schlieffen, and potentially an Edinburgh. But yeah, victory is in sight. That sounds pretty good. Now my smoke's ready. I'm gonna go probably a little bit forward in smoke. I gotta be careful because of said Schlieffen. And
smoke generator activated.
I was actually a little bit careless, but I don't think the Schlieffen's looking at me, so I should be fine. And yeah, the turrets aren't looking at me, but my torps are looking at the Schlieffen, definitely. And oh my, how did this happen? I'm up to 4 kills. So we just need one more for the Kraken. Oh, and there's a Confederate. So, you know, this fight in the center has turned out pretty profitable. Okay, it's just the Sao and the Edinburgh remaining, which means at this point I'm gonna charge in and go looking for a Kraken. If the Sao, for example, would go forward, it would be nice because I could ambush it with torpedoes. The Edinburgh, I mean, I still have 50 seconds of Hydro left. I could just charge it in its smoke screen. At this point, it's just all about the Kraken. Oh, and hello, Edinburgh. I'm a little bit too broadside, so I'll start to angle here, hoping to also get the torpedo in. There is the torpedo. Okay, I'm not really angling that well, to be honest. But there's the Kraken. Well, the Sao is still refusing to come around, but I got my Kraken, I'm happy. Now it just remains to be seen who in my team can get themselves a Sao, or do we reach 1,000 points first? It doesn't matter to me, I guess. What a lovely Minotaur game. So I had a pretty good position there in the center. It was a bit of a slow start, but the enemy had no more raiders to like spot me in my smoke. I had the island as some cover in between smokes, and with the enemy pushing in, I could really get some use out of my torps as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. It was a fun game to play. I hope it was fun to watch, and I'll see ya next time.